What's going on? Welcome to No Harm, No Foul with your host, Wayne Breezie and Mike Andrews. It's Monday. We're back. Mike, how was your weekend, bruh?
Let me tell you, man, this was a really, really good eye-opening weekend from a football perspective, from a family perspective, and everything. This was a really good, rejuvenating weekend, man. It's first time without Niners football on the weekend. However, we did play this week, right? And I got a chance to look around the league and really get an appreciation for some of what's going on here in this building, on this roster in particular. So it was pretty cool, man. How about you, man? Did you have a good one?
Yeah, I did, man. I mean, I caught up on some rest yesterday because I was ready. I was set. I was ready to watch all football for all 8 hours, and somehow, right before halftime, I fell asleep right here in this chair, and I woke up, and it was like the second half of the game going into the fourth quarter, and I missed a lot of stuff. So I did end up watching the 4 p.m. games. There was three of them that were on. Those were all trash, and then the Sunday night game. I will say this: football without the 49ers, and I know that's our favorite team, Mike. But football is boring when the Niners aren't playing. It's something about watching the color pop on the screen, the red and gold, or well, as long as they're in that color scheme. And then it's just like, what 49ers are you going to get? And I think because of that, it's like football is so weird to watch without the 49ers. Now, if you were entertained by the Dolphins putting up 70 points, that was an entertaining offensive game from an offensive perspective on yesterday. I mean, if you watch that.
Mike McDaniel did one of the dumbest things I ever seen in my entire life.
Okay.
Why not kick the field goal instead of take the knee?
I don't know.
You had an opportunity to go down in the history books of the highest scoring NFL game ever,
He would have been talked
and they
about.
said that he tried to be humble
Yeah.
and didn't score. Bro, no, absolutely wrong. What the heck was humble about 70 points? What the heck was humble about throwing bombs when you're up by 30 already?
I mean,
That's not humble.
that is humble. I mean, it's not like they were throwing bombs. They weren't throwing.
Man,
First of all, Mike, they weren't throwing bombs with Tua. They put Mike White. You let your backup quarterback. Like the backups came in. I didn't even know Robbie Anderson played. He changed his name, so my apologies. But I didn't even know.
Chosen. Robbie Chosen.
Is that what his name is now?
Yes, sir. His last name is Chosen.
Is it chosen or is it chosen? Okay, whatever. So I didn't even know the chosen one played for Miami at this point until he scores the touchdown. So look, that might have been one of the most explosive games earlier. And then if you watch the Chiefs beat up on the Bears, that was a weird game too. So football's just weird without the 49ers. But you know what, Mike? The 49ers, and we broke the news right here on the show last week. They decided that they announced that the multi-year contract extensions for Kyle Shanahan and general manager John Lynch. And you know what, Mike? Here's my question. So, like, did the 49ers rush in extending John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan? Now, this is the second extension. Okay, this is the
Mhm.
second extension, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in. And so we can even go back to date to find out, did they rush into the first extension? Because after the first extension, we don't have a Super Bowl. And then now they're going to be going into a second extension without a Super Bowl. So, Mike, let's break this down, bro, because I'm curious to know where you coming from at your angles, how you hit me with this, bro.
So I don't think that the first extension, well, on the timeline, the first extension felt rushed. All right. So the Niners extended them on in 2020. All right. It was June of 2020, which is the summer that we ended up losing the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. That was 2019. Right. So
Correct.
2019 season, 19 to 2020 is the season that we lost the Super Bowl. And then they got their extension. All right. It's a COVID year and all that stuff. Right. It was real wild. And I think that the timing was weird. We had them under contract for two more seasons after that. We didn't need to rush, but it's cool. Jed said, "Hey, let's add a little bit more time onto the end of your current contracts, and let's make it work." Fast forward to today, and we're pretty much in the same place. We have not had another Super Bowl appearance. The Niners still have a good defense. Why the rush for the extension? Well, when you look at the first extension, they went from being signed through the 2022 season, ending in 2023, and then it bumped them out to, let me find it here. It bumped them out through the 2025 season. So 2025 ending in 2026. That was for Shanahan. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but Lynch had one less year
Yeah,
than
I said Lynch had the 5, Shanny had the 6.
right, right. So Shanahan would have been the guy to stay from 2025 and ending before the 2026 season started. Lynch had the 2024 ending before the 2025 season started. Still plenty of time, right? So it's like, what the heck are these extensions for, and why does Jed keep doing it, right? Like he's trying to show some solidarity here or something. What is Jed York doing, and why is he doing it? And I think I got an idea. Now, do you want me to just get into my idea, or do we want to answer the question in general first? Do we like the extensions? Are we
Yeah,
happy?
let's go through the question in general. I mean, then I definitely want to get your take on it. But like, do we like the? Well, first of all, did they rush into the extension? I mean, that's the first question because
Yes.
uh, okay, and I agree. Like, they still had time expiring on their current contracts. Now we know what we see from players, and player things are a little bit different. But coming from a coach's perspective, other than Kyle Shanahan having a winning record and being 6-3 in the postseason, like other than that, like what's deemed like why the extension? Why the rush into the extension? Why? And at least the first extension came after a Super Bowl appearance. If we haven't been to the Super Bowl since then why another extension?
And that's what's questionable, right? Like Kyle Shanahan barely has a winning record as a head coach.
He's nine
I mean,
wins over. He's 9 over 500. So
out of 101 games though. So it's not
I'm
like
just, but it's winning. You know what I'm saying. But I get you. I get it. I get your point. But he also, I mean, there's context to that, right, Mike? I mean, you come in 2017 with a bad set of group of situation, and then you got to try to flip it the quickest way you can. You flip it the quickest way you can. And what do we have that year? We had a bunch of first round draft picks. You know what I'm saying? We were trying to flip it. So the winning didn't start until what, year 3?
2019. I mean, because 20 at the end of 2017 is when they acquired Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah,
They ended up losing Jimmy the start of the next season, which is 2018, and then Jimmy
week
comes back
4.
2019. The Niners start, huh?
That was week. I think it was week 4. The Kansas City Chiefs. I'm just talking about when Jimmy got injured.
Oh, all right. But yeah, so they he gets injured, and that season is done. The season is a wash. So that's 2018. 2019, he comes back. The Niners start 8-0, and then boom, Super Bowl appearance, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So was it Jed York being happy that they had Jimmy Garoppolo? Was it really I can't extend the quarterback, so I'm going to extend you, the people who found the quarterback? Is that what it is?
I mean, listen, they got this extension after. Whoa, 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 whoa. So Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch trade up a bunch of draft picks to get a quarterback that's no longer on this roster, and they still got extended, and they ain't win either. So they traded capital for a player that's not even here anymore, and they still getting flowers. Like,
Oh, and that's where I start scratching my head right now, bro. Right. Like you literally just had the worst trade in NFL history on your watch. Let's give him an extension. Let's sign him up. I want some more of this. I want some more of this. You have the fans literally saying, "Hey, just take all the first and second round picks
and
and
just dump
and
them.
use them for something else.
Yeah.
Like let's do what the Rams did. Listen to what the fans are saying. Let's do what the Rams did and just use those early picks on players that we know what they can do in the NFL already because we can't evaluate talent well enough. Let's get rid of it.
At that
Let's do this.
position though. At that position. I
Eh,
well, I think they evaluate talent at other positions. I think the offensive line and the quarterback is where they struggle in drafting. And will you say Aaron Banks is panning out? Because if so, that's definitely a Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch type of draft pick, right? So like, I still think you know what I would say when it comes to tackles, that's where they struggle. Tackles and quarterbacks, they seem to got it right so far on the kicker. They seem to got it right so far on a punter. They seem to got it right with the
Those
tight.
aren't first round picks.
I and
Those
I
aren't
and I
second round picks.
oh, so you talk about just the first round picks?
Yes.
Okay.
I think
Well,
we've gotten two right.
the
Two.
first
And the
the first
whole
round picks.
is
Let's go through them real quick, right? 49ers first round picks. You got Solomon Thomas, and they trade up. They get Mason, Reuben Foster, right?
two fails, two Fs.
Two Fs, and then who did they get after that?
After that was Mike
And
McGlinchey. And that was because they created a need. We already had a tackle, and they get McGlinchey and say,
wait,
"Hell,
who was
we're
the
gonna
tackle
trade
that
him."
we had? And don't say Trent
Trent
Brown.
Brown.
No,
Trent
he
Brown
didn't
was here,
fit.
and he was good.
He was
I don't
not
get.
good. He didn't even know. We didn't even know if he
Everybody,
was going to play. He didn't even
y'all gonna
say
miss
he
me.
wanted to play,
He
Mike.
played here. He played here, and he was the top 5 tackle in the league.
I
They
know
come,
what
oh,
he did, but I don't think he was like committed to playing football, like they needed him to be, or he
they,
just didn't fit what Kyle Shanahan was trying to do. Ain't no way Trent Brown was moving like in this type of zone run scheme. No way he was moving like that.
he was
Standard.
doing it. He was doing it. What are
Okay,
we saying?
we,
And no matter how you look at it, we got worse at that position.
I agree.
Trent Brown was never a liability at the right tackle position.
They
Mike
got it.
McGlinchey, on the other
They
hand,
I agree, but I don't agree on Trent Brown gonna work. But I thought he was a better tackle than Mike McGlinchey in a regular pass protecting phase of an offense. If you telling Trent Brown to get out there on these run blocks and these zone scheme runs, I think that might have been an issue. I think. I don't know. He didn't make it. We traded him to the Patriots or something like that. He gone. Or we
yep.
released him. I couldn't remember what happened.
We traded him to the Patriots right after we drafted McGlinchey.
All right, so let's keep going with the first round picks. Nick Bosa.
Nick
That's
Bosa
that.
falls in your lap because the Cardinals are too stupid. So they take Kyler Murray. Thank God, right?
I
Thank
mean,
God. But
yeah,
Nick
thank
Bosa
God.
was
Yeah,
a gimme.
we could thank
Nick
God. I
Bosa was
mean,
a gimme.
the Cardinals. I mean, look. The Cardinals needed a quarterback, Mike. So they did what every team is going to do. Like they're going to draft a quarterback. So you could say that they're stupid, but then
They
you
had,
could say
had
you
a
could say that
second year quarterback on their roster, a first round pick in
no
Josh
one
Rosen.
they
It was his
didn't that whoever the regime was didn't draft Josh Rosen, was it? That wasn't it a new
no, it was a brand new regime. Yeah, Cliff
yeah.
Kingsbury it just
They
came
didn't
in.
want no damn Josh Rosen. And the defense of the Cardinals, if if somehow Kyler Murray wanted to play football and was healthy, he was not a bad pick. He's a top quarterback in the league when he played. He was dangerous. The question is, could he stay healthy? And he used to give us fits. So let's not say it was they didn't f up. They just whatever. We lucked into getting Nick Bosa. I get what you're saying. Next first round pick of that same year, 2019. I mean, of 2020 was Javon Kinlaw. That was our first round pick. Now that was after the trade of DeForest Buckner,
Yep.
and then we drafted it. And I don't think that was a great.
Come
I
on.
don't think I don't think replacing DeForest Buckner should have been what they were trying to do. I felt like they could have did other things. They could have addressed the old line. They could have addressed so many other positions, but they went with Kinlaw. But they also
And
got Brandon Ayuk.
and they also got Brandon Ayuk. So far through the
One.
through the through the timeline, we have 2 hits so far: Nick Bosa and Brandon Ayuk.
Yes. Yes.
Out of out of
Out of
6.
one, two, three, four, five, six, seven,
Well, we haven't got to the last one yet,
which is Trey
which is
Lance.
2021, which was freaking Trey Lance, which by the way cost them extra first round picks as well.
Correct.
So technically, we're going to be on 8 first round picks for this 49ers team, and they've only hit on 2. And one of them, they might not even be able to extend yet.
Brandon Ayuk.
We have no idea what's going to be the future for people. I saw tweets this weekend, right after the touchdown. This guy's here so that way we don't have to extend Brandon Ayuk. I saw it this weekend.
I mean, but that's football, Mike. So you're gonna get that. You're gonna get those wild takes. You're gonna get those takes. You get what I'm saying? And I told you, like, if you're injured, okay. But if you're hurt and you could
Mm.
play, you gotta play. Next man up. They
Ro-
trying to take your job.
I agree. Rob D has a really good question here. What team GM head coach is 100% at the draft? Rob D. Thank you for that comment. I see you right there. That's a great question. None, right? But what team has one, two, three, four top 10 picks? Four top 10 picks in the first round, and only one of them work out.
Because I think in the first round, like for the 49ers, all right, if there's context to every year that they've drafted. So if we let's go back to 2017. And I can't answer this question, Rob D, because like Mike said, there's none. So that would be my answer. But let's say we go back to 2017. The 49ers were pretty much depleted. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch brought in who they wanted to bring in, and they wanted to start in the trenches. They wanted to start in the trenches. And that's what they did. They started on the defensive side. They got a new defensive end in Solomon Thomas, and then they drafted a crazy freakish type of a linebacker that hit hard and whatever. Now, red flags on one of them. The other one was a tweener. They were both busts for the San Francisco 49ers. They didn't work out. And I get it. But they tried, right? They went for what do you call it? They went for the player with the most upside skill set. I don't know. I don't know what they saw in Solomon Thomas. I don't know what lunch John Lynch had with Solomon Thomas over at Stanford. I can't answer that question. I do know what we saw in Solomon. I mean, what we saw in Reuben Foster. He was a he
Yeah,
was a menace on the
that
football
one
field.
that pick was exciting at the time of it happening.
It
It was
was,
an
but
exciting pick.
the issue was he was a menace off the football field. Those were the red flags that John Lynch should have knew about, and they bypassed them. They felt like, you know why they bypassed it? Do you know why, Mike? Because they felt that they were going to create this culture and help save these players. And some players just
Some players lack the mental wherewithal to do what we need them to do. When Reuben Foster couldn't earn the green dot and they were trying to give it to him, that told me something I need to know. I was mad at Bowman when he said I'm not here to train him. I was mad at Bowman when he said that, but maybe Bowman knew a little more something than what we thought because he never said that about another linebacker. So I'm just saying that the signs were there very early, very early. So, but my point though is, I don't expect anybody to be perfect. But when you're picking top five, top 10, those are supposed to be potential all pros, potential Hall of Famers, at least solid contributing players on your team. Forget the position that you're drafting. If you're drafting in the top 10 of any draft, you're supposed to get solid contributing Pro Bowl or All Pro type players. In the top five, you're definitely looking for future Hall of Famers. What is
yes.
happening?
What are you talking about?
Nah, not you.
Oh,
So like that's the kind of stuff that you want to see happening. But no, nobody's 100%. Back to this, and then you got the Trey Lance experiment, which cost the Niners three total first round picks. Forget the lower ones. We're only talking about the first, and he is gone after 4 games. Now, I know that their contracts are not solely based off of first round production.
no,
I just
because
think
because they
good,
hit on other rounds.
right, and they hit well.
And
They
they
hit
hit
well
so
on other
that's
rounds.
why I was gonna ask Mike, is the first round pick the pick you can take a flyer on? If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Hold on. Under this regime though. And
No,
regular well, it's working.
that doesn't mean that it should be the standard. That doesn't mean that every first round pick, oh, let's just take a flyer on a guy. No, you take flyers on guys in the second, third, and fourth round. We killed Trent Baalke for his ACL picks in the fourth round,
Yeah, but
but
he
we
drafted
have no.
ACL picks, God, bro. He drafted players that were injured. I think the 49ers saying that they can own, like, let's say they go out and get like the best player for whatever, and now they got to try to make that player fit into this position, into their regime. You know what I'm saying? Like like in the beginning of their draft process, that's what they had to do. But for some reason, they're still we haven't really had any first round picks since the Trey Lance experiment, and we won't know. You know what I'm saying, Mike? Wait till
I
after the
do.
Trey Lance experiment is over. Like, wait till the next first round pick so we can really properly assess.
Why we need to see 10 before we have a proper assessment of what they did? They have a history already. Now I will say that
Well, that's not
there's
fair to say
two
that they have a history, even though that's what we see out 2 out of 7, right? But again, you got to go back to the first 2 years. That was their first. That was the years they was trying to rebuild the roster. So they went and got great college players to play on this team. They missed. They missed.
there's in my opinion, there's two acceptable positions that they've been in where you could take a flyer in the first round. Reuben Foster was picked 31 of the first round.
That was at the
All
end,
right.
so that's like a second round pick.
Right. You want to take a flyer on a guy. This was a top 5 talent according
S-
to every draft scout
So,
in the whole world that year, and
okay.
he was falling. So that's cool. You want to take a flyer there? I respect that.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then 25 in 2020, which was Brandon Ayuk. Again, the bottom of the first round. When you get to the last third of the first round, then cool. Maybe this is a guy that maybe had a second
Right.
round
And
grade, but
I
I want
agree
to
with
make
that.
sure that we get him or whatever. You know what I mean? That's what
I
to
agree with
me,
that.
that's when you take
No,
the
no, no,
flyers.
no. I agree with that 100%, Mike. If you're gonna pick 1 through 10, you better hit on that 1 through 10. Oh,
Come on, just give me a starter. Just give me a solid
that's it.
starter.
No,
I
no, no,
don't.
no.
He
I,
don't
I,
have to
I
be
agree with
starter.
that. But you know what? I'm thinking I don't ever see us drafting there anymore. So for a while, so like I can see them
Hmm?
taking not a risk factor pick, like know who you drafting, but I can see them kind of like saying, hey, we're gonna try to take this pick and plug this or whatever and take this whatever, because then we have a first round pick. Or we could see him not drafting in the first round. Like we could see him trading back into the
Right now,
second to third. You
because
build
that's where the bread and butter is of
that's
this
where
team.
the bread and butter is, bro. So like I agree with picks. I would say picks 1 through 15, top 15, even top 20 should be starting in the NFL.
Right. Right.
Now,
Yep. I
now,
agree.
now, now, if we go through that and we look at that, so let's take out Brandon Ayuk. He was 25. Let's take out Reuben Foster. Now that leaves him with 5 picks, right? But that leaves you with
Third
one less pick,
overall,
one for
ninth
five.
overall,
Yeah,
2 overall,
right.
14 overall, and 3 overall,
So now that leaves you
and none
one
of them
for
work.
5. That's 20%, bro. That's terrible. So why they getting extensions?
They're getting extensions because the story starts, like you said, in 2017 with literally the worst roster in the NFL. And now it's arguable that the Niners have the best roster. So it's not just about what they do in the draft. I don't care if you knock out every single draft
Right,
pick,
it's
but all
free
your free agent
agency and all that
acquisitions
other stuff.
are
Yeah.
terrible, right? There's a huge, huge balancing system here. Kyle Shanahan, here's my conspiracy theory. This is why I think he's getting the extension. Kyle Shanahan has proven to Jed York and the other Yorks that he is more important than any quarterback on this team. After the 2019 season, we lose the Super Bowl, and all the headlines are saying the Niners are looking for another quarterback. Those were the headlines. Don't take my word for it. Just Google 49ers need a new quarterback. And that's the season that's going to pop up. Before 2020 even started, the team was talking revenge tour, revenge tour, revenge tour,
I
but the
remember.
NFL circles were saying, hey, they not really sold on Jimmy Garoppolo. They get a contract extension. Is it possible that Jed, Kyle, and John had a meeting and said, listen, man, we took a flyer on this kid. We gave up a second round pick to get him. We've seen what he is and we see what he isn't. We don't think he's going to be the guy. We need you to have a little bit more faith in us so we can go out and get another quarterback. We don't know what quarterback yet, but give us
Mm,
time to find another quarterback. We're going to need some more time on our contracts.
So there the extension came in.
So then that's possible where the extension came in. And now here we are. Now, this is where it's a conspiracy theory. This is where it's a conspiracy theory. What if the NFL catches up to Brock Purdy after 16, 17 games, like they did with Jimmy Garoppolo? Hey, We
I just
might be on the market for a quarterback again in another season or two. Can we get some more time? This is the conspiracy theory. Now, we can't prove this right or wrong until we see what happens in the next year or two.
I I just I don't know. I don't know. Um it's crazy theory, but at the end of the day, at the end of the day, like I know that this regime under the tutelage of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan has done one thing, and that's made this fan base, it's made this team relevant to the NFL. And not only did they make it relevant to the NFL, like think about all the coaches that we lost that are now head coaches on other teams that are copying the same blueprint that we've utilized on our team for as offense, for as defense. Like you're seeing the copycat stuff, and then you're seeing the rest of the league starting to copycat, and then you're seeing when we play teams, bro, they're literally trying to implement our game plan against us. So maybe they're extended because they set the precedence. And maybe Jed believes that they'll continue setting precedents and changing the trend of the NFL. When you got an innovative mind like Kyle Shanahan, and you got a guy that's going out there willing to do shit, trade away first round draft picks, saying F those picks, go get me Christian McCaffrey because he's the perfect fit. When you got a general manager that's willing to do stuff like that to keep this team trending upwards, I'm thinking right there, that's where the extension comes in. And you are already knowing as an owner that the best is yet to come. So the Super Bowls are gonna come. I just think that you have to continue to be patient and give it that time. And now we're sitting back, really enjoying the fruits of the labor. And I still don't even think the 49ers team has started gelling yet, bro. They still haven't even heated up yet, bro. They're still ticking. You know why they're still ticking? Because they don't want to give it all away because the league is a copycat league. Look at what Mike McDaniel was doing in Miami. And I'm not saying we would ever put up 70 points. I feel like that's not our style. But listen, we've seen the Super Bowl sprint fast teams. How did that pan out? It doesn't last.
They were hot last year too. I think people forget until they
Until
ran
we
into this
punched them in
wall.
the mouth. I was getting ready to
Right.
say that, bro. Like
Come
until
on, bro.
we punched them
Don't
like
play with us.
literally in the mouth. Speed
Don't play with us.
literally
And it was the fucking
kills.
Broncos, man. People keep. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to curse on this one.
Nah, it's all good.
It was the Broncos, man. Like y'all got to stop. Cut that out, man. Cut it out. It was the Broncos.
And I know people want to push back, Mike, and I know we only got 2 minutes, so I'm gonna let you talk. I know people want to push back on we've given it enough time, but where are we going? Like, like at the end of the day, you got a coach that's making sure that your team is contesting, and if it wasn't for injuries, you could probably say we winning them. We're winning this. We're winning that. So you can't just blame it on saying we gave it enough time. Brock Purdy doesn't get injured last year. I guarantee you the Niners were in the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs wouldn't have been ready for Brock. And no, I'm not putting him
Exactly.
on a
Not
pedestal. He's just a different mindset you got to prepare for. Yeah, Mike, my bad.
no. You good, man. There's two things I want to say. One, we're trendsetters. That's why the extension came in. As far as the conspiracy theory, it's all fun and games until it's true. That's all
Facts.
that was. I thought something. I connected some dots in my brain. I had to share it with y'all. That's all that was.
And Mike, these shows get more interesting and interesting because we don't. I just be like, Mike, what we talk about today? You don't respond. Then I send you something, and he'd be like, let's go with that, and then that's it. Then I don't see you till 4 o'clock. Like it ain't no, hey man, here's some talking points. Here's this. Here's that. You know what I'm saying? But nah, literally, I just feel like when it comes to the 49ers, Mike, if 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 they can just find a way to remain the healthiest they've ever been, like the league ain't seen nothing yet.
In trouble. No team is safe when the Niners are on the prowl. This is Mike and Wayne on No Harm, No Foul. Peace.